The Nintendo Switch constantly surprises me with the huge amount of impressive PS4 and Xbox One ports we've seen on the console. From Mortal Kombat to the recent Witcher 3, it amazes me how these companies get such powerful and GPU heavy games on such a weaker piece of hardware. But here we are with yet another, what you could say, impossible port for Switch. Overwatch, yes, Blizzard's fantastic online multiplayer shooter is finally out on Switch. So let's see how they did, shall we? First off, like with all Switch ports of big third-party titles, everyone wants to know what has been sacrificed to get this title to run on the Switch. The big thing here is the frame rate. That is normally 60 FPS on other consoles, but on Switch it's been cut to half to 30 FPS, and for some this will be a deal breaker, and I can kinda understand it due to the fast-paced nature of it. But honestly, the cut to 30 FPS isn't as bad as you think, and is still pretty playable. The game sticks to its 30 FPS cap pretty much all the time, though there is a time when it may drop to the mid-20s when there's a lot going on. As for the resolution, the game is aiming for 900p while stock and 720p in handheld, and the game does look quite nice. Whilst there is a slight noticeable graphical downgrade compared to the other versions, it still looks very impressive and runs very well in both portable and dock play. If you're deciding to play this game portable, you should probably know that the game demands a constant online connection, as you know it is an online multiplayer game, so if you're on the go and there's no Wi-Fi, you can't play. You can play it in your local coffee shop and in bed if you've got Wi-Fi, but if you're on a long car trip or out in the sticks, you can't. Not really the game's fault, but it's something you should know if you're planning on taking it with you. Another thing that you should know that if you've been playing Overwatch since its launch on another console and you want to transfer your progress, skins and various other things, you can, as the game doesn't allow cross progression, which is a pretty big deal if you devoted lots of hours and money into another version of the game. Now on to the actual gameplay now, and you'll probably want to know what Overwatch is exactly. Overwatch is an always online multiplayer game that sees two teams of 6 going up against each other trying to complete such objectives like capturing a point and escorting a payload to a certain area. With that description, it probably doesn't sound that exciting, but there's so many elements to the game that makes it incredibly fun. The biggest and best thing about this game is its huge cast of playable characters, which this game calls heroes. When the title was originally launched there was 21 heroes, but now there's just over 30, and all these characters are unlocked and playable from the start. Each of these characters are split into different types. You have your attack, which you can guess are the main damage dealers. Then there's the support, who can help out players on low health and use buffs and debuffs to put the match in your favour. And finally we've got tanks, and these big guys can take a heck of a lot of damage but can be quite slow. These types are perfect for protecting your teammates. Each and every one of these heroes all have their own personality and charm. Heck, any one of these characters could be a lead in their very own game themselves, and it goes further with each and every character playing differently. From Soldier 76, who plays like a typical soldier in any other shooter. Then we've got Tracer, who's two twin guns and can also reverse time a few seconds, which is also quite cool. Other characters like Diva, who is a young woman in a big mech, and when the mech is destroyed she can jump out of it and still fight. Then there's Reinhardt, who has an absolutely huge shield that can protect your teammates, and you can smack your enemies with an absolutely huge hammer. Every character has a couple of special powers that can be used, but they all have small cooldowns. Then every character has their own ultimate power, which can deliver a devastating attack on the battlefield. The game has a great selection of gameplay types, from escort, which sees one team escorting a payload whilst the other team tries to stop them. Then there's also assault and control, which are both really enjoyable modes where teams have to capture different areas in different ways, and there's also the hybrid mode, which combines two different modes into one. These modes constantly change to keep things feeling fresh and varied. The loot box crates that Overwatch started is also included here. As you gain access to all the characters from the get-go, each character has a horde of cosmetics to add a bit of personality to each of them. From voice lines to victory poses to costumes, there's a lot for collectors to get here, but to get them you have to find them in the game's loot crates, which you get one every time you level up. At first you get them quite frequently, but once you get to the higher levels, leveling up takes a fair old time. You can get more loot boxes if you wish by forking out real world cash for the things, but the problem is you're never guaranteed the item you want, so you could spend loads of money and then get bugger all. I'm not really keen on the whole loot box stuff, but when you do start off the game you do get a load of skins and stuff to get you started, which is nice. But all these cosmetics do at the end of the day is set you apart from the other players. If you want more cosmetics, the options is there, but honestly, I wouldn't really bother. Something that really did disappoint me was the physical version, as there's no cartridge included whatsoever. Instead, we receive a code to download the game off the eShop. Yes, like Wolfenstein Youngblood, what you get in the case is just a code, which is certainly a shame. It's not like the game has a really big file size, so I don't really know why they couldn't put the game on the cartridge. But you do get a free 3 months Nintendo Online Pass with both digital and physical purchases, which is helpful. So if you do buy the game, you can at least play it for 3 months without worrying about buying online upon the game purchase. Conclusion time now, and yet again the Switch has another impressive title to add to an already incredible 2019 lineup. Overwatch was something you'd never thought could happen on the Switch, yet here it is. Yes, there are some sacrifices like the 30 FPS cap, which I think will put some people off, but it's still really playable. But the lack of cross-play progression for veterans of the game is a bit of a shame. If this is your only way of playing the game, then by all means pick up this version, as it's a really good version and easily one of the best online games for the Switch, and a good selling point to buy the online subscription. It's just a shame that the physical version doesn't come with a cartridge. So with that, I'm giving Overwatch on the Switch an 8 out of 10 with the title of great. Thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming, bye.